Well, good morning. I want to thank all of you for joining us here at Central Campus. Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds and I returned this weekend from the presidential inaugural activities. It was humbling to witness this peaceful transition of power that helps America the great country that it is. I'm honored to be back here in Iowa and, of course, on the Central Campus, one of our state's leading work-based learning institutions. I think it's kind of interesting. This started out as a factory that made automobiles, and now it's preparing students for the workforce of the future. So I want to thank Central Campus for hosting us today. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds and I are glad to be joined by Adi Pamvisai, who is the director of the Central Campus, and by Diego Garcia Oriana, a Lincoln High School and Central Campus 11th grade student who is studying information technology network administration and has an interest in the cybersecurity field. Today, we are highlighting the launch of the Future Ready Iowa website. It is an important tool that will help us reach the Future Ready goal of 70% of the workforce having education and training beyond high school by the year 2025. The Future Ready Iowa website is a one-stop shop where Iowans can learn about career opportunities, including high-demand jobs and the training and education that will help Iowans improve their skills. It also includes information about financial assistance and other kinds of support. As I said in the condition of the state speech, closing the skills gap in many ways is the very biggest challenge our state faces over the next decade. We want to assure more Iowans have the great career opportunities that they deserve and that employers can hire enough skilled workers that they need. That's why I'm encouraging Iowans, both students and adults, to use this new Future Ready Iowa website for lifelong learning opportunities. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds is co-chair of the Future Ready Iowa Alliance, which will make its recommendations by October 31st, 2017 on how we can reach this ambitious goal of 70% of the workforce having the education and skills beyond high school to meet these demanding jobs. Meanwhile, this website is a good step to provide Iowans with easy access to information. And now I want to turn it over to Lieutenant Governor Reynolds.
Well, good morning, and thank you, Governor Branstad. And it is great to be back at Central Campus. We were here not too long ago talking about the pre-apprenticeship program and how Central Campus is really taking the lead on that initiative. So we're grateful to your continued collaboration. I also want to say thanks to Adi and Diego for joining us today. And as the governor mentioned, the Future Ready Iowa goal aims for 70% of Iowans to have either education or training beyond high school by the year 2025. The Future Ready Iowa website, which can be found at futurereadyiowa, spelled out, .gov, will directly connect students and job seekers to important tools to allow them to find education, training, jobs, and rewarding careers. The Future Ready Iowa website uses Iowa labor market information to identify the number of jobs, the average median income, and the required training and skills to obtain those jobs. The website identifies career opportunities in Iowa, not only for Iowans seeking to advance their career, and for individuals also seeking to relocate back to Iowa. The website is designed to help high school and college students and Iowans who are unemployed, underemployed, to map out their education, training, and career path to help do everything we can to close Iowa's skill gap and to help grow Iowa family incomes. The Future Ready Iowa website, it's very easy to navigate. The website is mobile friendly. It features career exploration resources through the Career Coach tool, and the site's clearly defined menu navigation makes it easy for users to discover information on high-demand jobs and the knowledge and the technical skills that are required for the careers, again, of today and the careers of tomorrow. A robust tool like this requires a lot of collaboration to develop, and we want to thank Director Townsend and the Iowa Workforce Development Team, who have worked closely with the Iowa Department of Education and the Iowa Economic Development Authority, Iowa College Student Aid Commission, and a host of others to really pull together a variety of resources so we can make it simple and easy, a one-stop shop to help Iowans be successful. The website includes several components that are important to Iowa employers, and continued engagement of Iowa's business and industry will be vital to helping us obtain that goal of closing the skills gap. State leaders look forward to working with a variety of stakeholders to continually update the Future Ready Iowa website so that it remains a dynamic tool to help Iowans build rewarding careers and Iowa businesses grow and innovate. And so with that, I am pleased to turn the podium over to Adi.
Thank you, Governor and Lieutenant Governor. I want to congratulate, first of all, our longstanding governor, who's distinguished himself not only in terms of his leadership here in Iowa, but on the global stage, and more important now than ever, to be ambassador to China, a very, very important strategic partner, and he will do an extraordinary job in that position. And then Lieutenant Governor Kim Reynolds, congratulations to you, future governor of Iowa. You have been a leader not only in terms of STEM education, but also work-based learning, and now leading this major initiative in Future Ready Iowa. You will serve us well, and we look forward to your ongoing leadership. Again, I want to welcome you to Central Campus, Des Moines Public Schools. This is Iowa's premier regional academy for advanced career programs, with 9 academies here. In particular, one that we are in the room of is information technology and the future launch of cybersecurity under the leadership of our great instructor, Mr. Sam Oppel, and his students. And we look forward to that launch. We have 39 specialized programs serving nearly 2,000 students across the Des Moines metro area. These specialized programs are some of the most nationally and internationally recognized programs in the world and in the nation. This is all made possible because of the ongoing support of Iowa and support of public schools, but advanced work-based learning programs. I'm privileged to serve on the Future Ready Alliance board, along with other educators and business leaders. This collaboration is so critical, not only in terms of preparing our young learners, but also giving them access and opportunity. And through this Future Ready Alliance portal, students and families and others can access very, very important information. It is also important for businesses and industry to communicate with the educational institutions to make sure that our curriculum, our instruction, and the resources, materials are relevant and engaging to not only the students, but their future. And then, most importantly, I think, it's an opportunity for us as educators and business leaders to advocate for learning programs such as Central Campus, which is the model for the state of Iowa in career technical education and work-based learning. And so we need to be the champions of that. And Lieutenant Governor and Governor, we have a friend in you, and we sincerely appreciate your support. The career-based and work-based learning programs here at Central Campus is really about the rigorous and relevant hands-on training through competency-based instruction. This type of instruction really lends to the high levels of engagement for our students. Being a school of nearly 2,000 students, our average daily attendance at the end of this semester was 97%. High levels of engaged learning, earning college credits while taking high school elective classes, and also receiving certifiable and recognized industry credentials. Also important to this, not only in terms of the high technical skills, it's important to develop 21st century skills and employability and citizenship skills while in work-based learning. We are honored and privileged and grateful for the support, not only from the top down, but your staff, the Iowa Workforce Development, Greer Session in the apprenticeship office. These staff have been directed to work with us very, very closely, and we sincerely appreciate their support to establish high quality apprenticeships, internships, and now we're the first high school in the state of Iowa to be a registered apprenticeship, of which we announced earlier this month with you, Lieutenant Governor. And lastly, this portal and what it means. I strongly want to encourage not only the students of Des Moines Public Schools and families, but throughout the entire state of Iowa, the career-based learning information that's connected is not only information for students in terms of understanding multiple pathways to education, but it's also linking them directly to employers, knowing not only in terms of what is available, but also future forecasts for employment. And finally, this portal and Future Ready Alliance are all indicative of the state's commitment. Despite challenges that are ahead of us, we meet those challenges in tight fiscal years to be creative, innovative, to support work-based learning programs and apprenticeships across our state of Iowa. So Governor, Lieutenant Governor, I want to thank you for your leadership and your support in this very, very important initiative. I'm honored now to turn it over to one of our finest students and a representative not only of Des Moines Public Schools, but Central Campus and all of Iowa. Diego?
Hi, everyone. My name is Diego Garcia Oriana. I'm a junior here at Lincoln High School, and I'm also in the cybersecurity program here at Central Campus. In the cybersecurity program, we could earn over 40 DMAC dual enrollment credits on topics such as computer security, computer networking, and network administration. We earn IT certifications to get ourselves ready for real cybersecurity jobs. In the cybersecurity program at Central Campus, we learn from projects like job shadows and job interviews with IT professionals. We also engage in hands-on, real-world experiences by practicing our skills on real equipment and by participating in events like the cyber defense competition in the IT Olympics at Iowa State University. I personally enjoy the cybersecurity program because I find it amazing that the skills we learn in class can apply and fit into almost any other career. I plan on continuing the cybersecurity program as a senior to be a cybersecurity professional someday. Central Campus is now the first high school in Iowa to be designated by the State Apprenticeship Office as a high-quality pre-apprenticeship program. I am excited to continue at Central Campus to earn an apprenticeship at a local business in the area of cybersecurity. I have visited the Future Ready Iowa website. Here I can search careers such as cybersecurity to see what options I have in the future. I can see that I can be an information security analyst, for example. The Future Ready Iowa website tells me all about what an information security analyst does for a living. I can see how much education I will need and how well this job pays. I can even see that there's a large projected job growth in the area of cybersecurity and what employers are looking to hire in these types of positions. If I wasn't sure what I wanted to get into, the Future Ready Iowa website helps me by allowing me to take a career assessment to find out what careers might be a good fit for me. I can even build a resume with tools from the website. Thanks to the new Future Ready Iowa website, I can see a clear pathway to my future goal as a cybersecurity professional. Thank you to Governor Branstad and the Future Ready Alliance for giving me a great resource to help me with make an informed decision on my passion for a future in cybersecurity. Thank you.
Diego, good job. Thank you very much. Well, there's no question that cybersecurity is one of those fields of the future. And I want to thank Diego and Adi and all the people involved in launching this program here at Central Campus. So we would open it to your questions on this subject.
So how many businesses are participating? You said that you'll be able to check jobs.
Yeah, you can just look it up there.
It links to the Iowa Jobs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Beth Townsend is here also. Beth, do you want to answer that question?
Sure.
Beth's our Director of Workforce Development for the state.
The site links to the Iowa Jobs database, which has all of the job openings. We have the largest job bank in the state of Iowa for current openings. And so in the sense that employers contribute to that Iowa Jobs Bank, that's how they contribute there with those listings.
Yes, how long has the website been active and what sort of unique visitor counts are you getting?
Well, it's only gone active today. It was put up publicly last week because it takes a while to get it, once you activate it, it takes a while to then become visible to the internet. So we put it up last week, but today is really the launch. We do have counters, so we will be able to check the traffic both on the Future Ready Iowa portal, but also the Career Coach. And we'll be putting that out once we, some time goes by.
What are you hoping for as far as visitor clicks, and what would be considered success or what would be considered failure?
I don't believe we've defined that in the sense of a specific number of clicks for success or failure. We think it's going to be a very helpful tool. And so the great thing about the website is it's very fluid, and we'll be able to make changes to it as we need to improve or make changes as we get feedback from the public.
One of the things I want to highlight, Diego mentioned this, dual enrollment opportunities for students that are getting college credit while they're still in high school. That's something that Central Campus has done for a long time, working with the community college. That's extremely beneficial, and Iowa leads the country on dual enrollment. Another area is apprenticeship, where we've dramatically increased support and funding for apprenticeship. And that's another really neat program where people can get the skills they need without incurring a lot of debt. So, and what intrigues me about this is the collaboration between K through 12 public education, the community colleges, and workforce development. Everybody working together. Obviously, economic development's also involved with Future Ready Iowa. But this is what we're trying to do, is build this culture of collaboration that really gives students the opportunities to explore fields that could be very lucrative and very important to their future.
I think that's how we'll drive the usage of it too. It's because of all of the stakeholders that are at the table. That will really help us market and educate users about the opportunities. Adie's got a good statistic.
Yes, go ahead,
for dual enrollment.
Adie.
Because of the collaboration with the DMAC and Indian Hills and other community colleges, Central Campus students and their total enrollment in just this year alone are projected to earn 11,766 college credits at no cost to the students and families, saving them and our taxpayers $1.4 million in 1 year alone. And with multiple pathways in our 9 career academies, we have a catalog that informs all of our students that they can earn their AA degree or AGS or AS degree while in high school, taking the sequence of courses here at Des Moines Public Schools and Central Campus. So, Governor, thank you for your long-standing support of that initiative. And that's been going on for almost a decade now.
Right. Yeah. These are available also. Dual enrollment is available through all over the state. So now, not everybody has got quite the program they've got here at Central Campus, but we want to make sure that, in fact, I mentioned the state of the state, the idea of having computer science available in every school in the state of Iowa. We think that's very important. Using technology, that can be done. And we built the ICN way before a lot of other states, and we have access through the ICN to all the school districts in the state of Iowa. So that's another advantage that we have in Iowa. But Central Campus is kind of unique. There's a great history here. I thought it was kind of neat to go by that automobile that was produced in this building on the way in, and then think that you are really preparing the students of today for the technology like cybersecurity of the future. Yes.
Governor, we talk about this culture of collaboration and preparing students for the next step past a high school degree, and sometimes that just means technical education, but also community college.
Right.
Your budget recommendation includes a reduction of more than, I believe, $4 million. How does that balance out with all of these initiatives to get students where they need to be?
Well, we're legally required to make sure that we have a budget that's balanced. And if you follow what's happened, unfortunately, we had a very difficult farm economy this past year. About the only time I can ever remember, we had both grain prices and livestock prices below the cost of production. So we went through a period of time where corn, soybeans, pork, beef, and eggs all below the cost of production. Revenue was reduced in March of last year, was reduced again in October and in December. And the budget that I presented to the legislature was by law based on that December revenue estimate. And in order to make sure the budget is balanced, the first order of business is to do the de-appropriations. Now, I exempted K through 12, the school aid, from any reduction. And that's a significant step. The previous governor did a massive across-the-board cut of 10% in 2009. I didn't want to cause that disruption. And the legislature, I'm very hopeful. We made our recommendations on the second day of the session. I'm very hopeful those for 2017 will be approved this year. And we do have an increase for community colleges and for K through 12 education. I'm recommending 2-year supplemental state aid be approved, and I'm very hopeful that'll be the next order of business after they complete the 2017 de-appropriations.
I've been following this issue, and there's a lot of different reasons why we don't have all the money we need for this current budget. There are some who say that we could maybe make these cuts elsewhere and not affect higher education specifically, which will have a cut. So I'm curious what you think about the notion that we might need to make cuts elsewhere and not on these key issues like higher education.
I think you have to look at where the money is. The biggest item is K through 12 education. We've exempted it. Medicaid's the second biggest. We've exempted it. And so I understand that higher education's got a little more flexibility, but I understand the challenge it's faced with. But we do have recommendations for increases in higher education in both fiscal 18 and 19. And we're in a much better position than a lot of other states in this country. Illinois hasn't had a budget in 2 years. We at least have a budget that's balanced and our reserve accounts are full.
Diego, can you step up to the mic and
Yeah.
tell us what you're telling your friends about this new website? Are you trying to get them to visit? Or what do they say?
Well, they told me to keep it a secret until now, actually. No, I haven't told anybody.
Now you have a mission, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are you going to tell your friends? What are you going to text or tweet?
Well, I can definitely do all of that, but I think it's a great idea. 70% of all islands by 2025, higher education or some training. That's great. I want to support this all the way. It's like, I guess that's my answer.
So what do you tell your friends, people who probably would not check this out unless you tell them yourself?
Yeah.
What are you going to tell them about, okay, hey, I went there, I got this, there's this. Why should your classmates go to this website?
Well, it's what if they're, I could tell like a really confused one, one of those friends that if they don't know what to do in the future, just point them right at this website. They could type in what they want to do, or if they don't know what to do, they can do what's it called, career assessment. Yeah, there we go. And they could find what they want to do.
He's not only smart, he's got a good sense of humor
That's
too.
right.
Diego, thank you. Okay, other question? Yeah.
I ask you about the situation at the Glenwood Resource Center. The inspection report said the facility failed to ensure the development and implementation of adequate systems to identify and prevent abuse and mistreatment of clients. How does that square with DHS's determination that no supervisors deserve discipline, and you still have faith in the management there?
Well, Department of Human Services done a extensive investigation, and I think there's also additional review now being done by the auditor's office and elsewhere. We want to make sure that everybody is treated well, and when there is misconduct, it's important that be ferreted out. There's been a number of people that have been dismissed as a result of their inappropriate actions, and if there are additional ones that have some culpability or responsibility, action should be taken against them. I also believe this personnel action should be made public. Senate Democrats have killed that year after year. It passed the House in 2013. And we are going to push for that again this year. Once there is a determination of wrongdoing, it is wrong that the perpetrators would be able to have that protected and then be able to get another job in state government or in some other level of government and be able to repeat the offenses. I find that very offensive. I believe that the public has a right to know that information. Now, just because there's an accusation, no, it shouldn't be public then. But once there's been a determination, including a termination, I believe that should become public. And the public should have a right to know that information. That passed the House in 2013. I have consistently supported it throughout. I've done what I can by executive order, but now that we have a Republican Senate, I'm optimistic this year we will see it approved through both houses.
Do you think it's appropriate that no supervisors were disciplined?
Well, I don't have all the details of that, and I believe that the department has taken the action they believe is appropriate at this point in time. If there's additional action that should be taken, I'm certain that they'll do what needs to be done. But I'm not one to second guess. I instead want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the safety and well-being of people that are in the custody of the state at Glenwood or Woodward or wherever they might be.
How is it the culture there allowed this to happen?
Well, that's a good question. And that's the reason why significant changes have already been made. They've added additional supervisors, I think, on the evenings and weekends. But it is concerning that we have had some, and I would again point out that there's a lot of employees there that are hardworking, conscientious people that do a good job of caring for the residents. But you had a few that didn't, and they were able to basically convince others to keep that secret. Eventually, that was discovered, and action has been taken to dismiss those people.
Governor, just following up on institutions, I'm sure you're aware there were incidents at the Amherst State Penitentiary yesterday. I think you've got something like $15 million in budget cuts for the Department of Corrections. Obviously, the people from AFSCME and other people in the prison system are going to say, we've had several incidents in the prison system. This is the wrong time to be cutting staff. We need more staff. What do you respond to that?
Well, first of all, I would point out that we have made huge investments in our corrections system. We built a brand new corrections facility at Fort Madison, and of course, we moved inmates into that. That is a much safer and more secure facility than the old prison that was actually parts of it built before Iowa was even a state. We have also, through the collaboration between the Department of Corrections and the Parole Board, been able to, since the Lieutenant Governor and I came into office, reduce the prison population in our state and better identify those people that are good risks and being able to release them sooner and at the same time prevent an increase in recidivism. So we're going to continue to look at things that we can do better in terms of protecting the safety and security of the citizens of our state. But we also expressly meet our responsibilities to balance the budget and live within the revenue that the state has. And the law clearly requires us to have a budget that's balanced. And we've always maintained that. We've tried to do it in a very thoughtful and selective way. And we appreciate the cooperation that we're receiving from the legislature. As I said, I'm hopeful they're going to be approved for fiscal 17 this year. And, we have a budget for fiscal 18 that does provide increases.
Governor, as a follow-up to that point, our recidivism rate has actually gone up.
Recently, but if you look at it over the last 5 years, we have, even though we've reduced the prison population, we've had years when it's gone down.
So that now that it's gone up, shouldn't we ensure that we have enough staffing to make sure it's?
Well, there's a lot more to do with it than just the staffing at the prisons. One of the most important factors is what the Parole Board has done. The Parole Board has basically eliminated the old paper system and gone to electronic system. And also they work from the very beginning with corrections to identify people that are better risks and to be able to make sure those people have an earlier opportunity to being released than those that are not good risks.
Right.
Governor, when you were in the Capitol, were you able to meet with members of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and do any of the
No.
work on the?
I was not. I did meet with the ambassador from Australia. I got some very interesting insights from him about the relationship with China and some of the issues that we're going to be dealing with in the new position. But the focus has really been first on confirming the cabinet members and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which is the committee that I'll have to go through. I'm still working on all the paperwork, and I was told that we have to document all my foreign travels. I've been to Japan 17 times. I've been to China 6. I've been Africa and Europe and whatever. And they want to not only know where I went, but the dates and places and all of that. And some of those records were destroyed by a fire several years ago. So I've gone back and tried to find my old passports to see if there's another way to try to document that information. But they also want to know all kinds of financial information, all kinds of places where I've worked and whatever. It's a tremendous, and we're still working on it. We're very close to finalizing it. So once they have that, then obviously they have time to review that. And if you've been watching the hearings, sometimes they go into some pretty detailed and tough questions on those things. And we want to be as well prepared as possible for that. So we're doing a very thorough and thoughtful and trying to get all the information that is requested, some of which is not easy to find because of the fact that some of the economic development records of previous years were destroyed by a fire.
Joyce, I think the session will be over by the time you get to your time.
I don't know.
Joyce?
Lieutenant Governor, Senator Bisignano has a bill that would require House and Senate confirmation of your choice for Lieutenant Governor. This would be a simple majority, so there's no way that the Democrats could stop it. But they say that he says that this person could actually become governor without ever having any kind of input from voters or their representatives. Do you see any benefit from that?
Well, listen, that's never been the process before. For example, when Mary Mosman was appointed as the auditor of the state, the process is in place. There's a process that we follow. There's no precedence for doing anything different. So I would support the process in place. And I think it's worked well in the past, and I think it will serve Iowans well in the future.
Have you made your choice?
Well, Well, let me just also add to that this is an executive branch position. It once was a legislative position. When I was lieutenant governor was president of the Senate, we passed a constitutional amendment to have the governor and lieutenant governor run as a team and serve as partners in the executive branch. I think it's worked very well. A law was passed giving the governor the authority to appoint the lieutenant governor in the event of a vacancy, the same as we have for other state officials, like the auditor. I remember when the Secretary of State was appointed by Governor Ray. We had a state auditor, Lloyd Smith, that died in office, and that position was filled. And so I think the system that we have, where executive branch positions that are elected positions are appointed by the governor and they serve until the next general election, is a good and fair system.
We've got to not take up this room all day for a D, so I got to go to Sabrina and then we got to get out of here.
One question about DHS and the failure in taking care of not only Finn, and now there's another case that's come to light about Malaya Knapp, and another failure in DHS and child abuse. She had to run away from her home. And now Senator Matt McCoy is calling for some government oversight hearings and says that there needs to be some sort of legislation passed and something needs to happen at DHS, more so than what has already happened. What do you think needs to happen?
Well, he's the same one that killed the bill that would have made this stuff public. So I guess I find that a little bit hypocritical. Let me point out, we want to do what we can to investigate and protect, but I also think it's important that the Department of Human Services do things in a thoughtful and judicious way that also protects the rights of parents and families. So it's a delicate balance. When you have thousands and thousands of people that when mistakes are made, they need to be investigated. And if there's wrongdoing or if there's employees of the department that are not doing their job, they need to be disciplined as they have. But that also needs to be made public and not hidden like Senator McCoy has in the past. I think it's important that the public have all the facts on these informations and that we do all we can to ensure the safety and well-being of all of our citizens, whether they're in their own home or whether they're serving, if they're in a state institution like Glenwood or Woodward or wherever that might be.
Governor, you're recommending $2.8 million outside of child and family services. I'm curious if that's the right approach, given all of this news on foster care and our oversight. Should we be taking money out of that to create this state-run program for family planning services that doesn't provide for abortions?
Well, first of all, I think it's important that we have access to family planning services and not be limited to one provider that doesn't serve rural Iowa. We need to make sure these services are available throughout the state. We've been working on this with the House of Representatives for some time. Again, it was blocked by Senate Democrats, but this year we think it's got a good chance to be approved. I think that's a good step in the right direction. We want to make sure that we're doing all we can to provide the services that meet the needs of the people of Iowa, regardless of where they live.
Should we be paying for it through child and family services, taking $2.8 million out of that funding?
Well, that's a block grant that the state of Iowa receives. And, you know, I think it's appropriate location. I think it's appropriate to use that block grant in a way that provides for important services and needs throughout the state. And we want to meet all of these needs, and we want to do it in the most economical and efficient way that we can.
Thank you.